Google Analytics 4 was supposed to be the future of website tracking, but instead, it's a nightmare. Marketers hate it, businesses are struggling with it, and some are even ditching Google Analytics altogether. But Ron, why everybody hates Google Analytics? Let's find out. So let's talk about what Google Analytics 4 is and why did Google change it. Google Analytics 4, or GA4, is the latest version of their Google Analytics product. This product is designed to measure web and app data in a more privacy-centric way. Actually, it's completely reimagining how Google Analytics collect and process data, and here are the main differences. And the first difference is cross-platform measurement, because Google Analytics 4 is able to measure web plus app data, while Google Analytics 360 or UA, Universal Analytics, was able to measure only web data without providing you cross-platform view. Also, GA4 designed to comply with all of the privacy changes in the world and rising privacy regulations. Also, it relies less on cookies, which also is one of the measures to comply with privacy regulations. GA4 also uses its predictive capabilities in order to predict website behavior and some metrics like potential revenue and etc. But why did Google replace UA with GA4? Simply because the way users interact with the content significantly changed over time, and people spend more time in apps, and now it's more critical to see cross-platform data both from apps and web. Also, the industry wants to rely less and less on cookies, and that's why Google Analytics 4 is less reliant on cookies overall. Instead, it relies on events. And this all sounds really cool, right? So why everybody hate this tool? And first reason is user interface, and I would say not interface itself, but overall experience with this tool. And it would be easier to share it once instead of just talking about this. So this is one of the most important reports in general, traffic acquisition tab. So here we have traffic sources, source medium, we can pull whatever we want here, and that's fine. But here we have sessions, engagement rate, engagement time per session, events, session key, event rate, total revenue. I mean, this all cool. For me, it doesn't make any sense. I want to be able to see revenue, transactions, new users, total users, bounce rate, like all of these important metrics. So probably I should use custom explorations, right? Because I've used it in Universal Analytics, so maybe that's the case here. And I spent more than 10 hours probably trying to understand how all of this works. However, I'm not able to build even simple reports because every time I am struggling with recalling how to do it once again, because it's so hard. You have segments, dimensions, metrics, column groups, values, columns, nested, like all of the things. This is so confusing and it's really just hard to navigate. So speaking of the other factors, user interface, user experience, also post-view conversions. I know that this is relevant not for everybody probably, but I work in programmatic industry, and post-view conversion, this is very important part of measuring success of programmatic campaign. Now it is impossible to measure programmatic campaigns performance in GA4. Also, it lacks top conversion path report. I think this is one of the best reports I've ever seen in Google Analytics 360, because using this report you could see how different interactions, how different channels impact conversion rate. For example, if conversion path is starting from display, conversion rate is X. But if conversion path is starting from video, then followed by display, for example, conversion rate is 2 times higher. And I was able to pull all kind of analysis using this great report. Also, there was a possibility to create custom attributions using view through, using campaign and DV360 dimension, and a lot of other cool stuff actually. But now Google Analytics 4, built fully on events, aka click-through conversions, only gives you possibility to track click events. So you can see if user clicked on the link or clicked or just entered your website, and you can see only the last interaction. This provides less visibility on other channels' performance. Some people could ask, yeah, like user interface, but this is web analytics tool. So what about data? And this is another big problem of GA4. You can't be 100% sure in this data. And in my experience, I don't know how many situations actually. The latest situation where I had problems with Google Analytics 4, for one of my biggest clients, number of new users is higher than number of total users. It doesn't make any sense, but this is happening because GA4 counts probably something wrong or nobody knows. And previously there were different issues with data discrepancy also I remember issues with channels tagging because I saw different channels tagged differently using auto tagging than manual tagging within the same report. You can't do an analysis based on this data, and that's a big problem obviously, because you can argue with user interface, you can call me not experienced user, but I think it's hard to argue with the fact that you can trust data from GA4. Also, I know about tons of issues with conversions tracking. Obviously, as I said, I'm a programmatic buyer. I don't see any conversions in GA4, thank you Google, but I know guys who are running Google ads, they see discrepancy between GA4 and Google ads. Probably this is a very common case, and you all know about that. And share your experience with GA4. Do you see any discrepancies? I know yes, but I'm curious to hear like real interesting examples. Now let's talk about privacy, and the question here, is GA4 a better product in terms of privacy concerns? And actually answer is yes, because this tool is not so heavily reliant on cookies, and I think this is one of the main GA4 features, because it now uses events, all of this like scrolls, clicks, but not cookies in most cases. Also it uses machine learning to fill in data gaps, and also it doesn't collect IP addresses information, which is also great for privacy. And probably this transition happened due to the universal analytics ban, especially in European Union, where France, Austria, probably Germany banned universal analytics because it was sending GDPR data to US, and this was a big concern at that time. Also, it was heavily reliant on cookies, so Google did a move in a direction of privacy first web analytics tool. But if we compare Google Analytics 4 versus Universal Analytics, what did we lose? Actually, a lot of things. And the first one is straightforward user interface and overall better user experience. Universal Analytics and Google Analytics 360 were super straightforward tools that you could use. You could open the link and just start using it, because you had all of the things right away. If you need source medium performance, you go to acquisition, source medium, and you see source mediums, new users, total users, transactions, revenue, CVR, bounce rate, all of the things. And you can have a high level understanding how each source medium performs and what's the traffic quality, and not all of these like events, event to event ratio, all of the other metrics that doesn't make any sense for me. Actually, next important thing, obviously data. Universal Analytics had more reliable data, and data accuracy was actually better. I hardly remember a situation when I had some issues with Google Analytics data, but I can recall more than 5 examples when I had these issues over the past 6 months with Google Analytics 4. Also, custom reports were more straightforward, so you could build it instantly versus I don't know how to build them in GA4. I just don't know. I give up. Next difference is view-through conversions, and I think it's probably relevant only for programmatic buyers, for those who rely on Campaign Manager 360 data or want to analyze display and video 360 performance, but for me it's one of the most important factors. And yeah, we don't have view-through conversions in GA4. Also, top conversion path report, one of the best reports to analyze cross-channel performance and understand how your marketing mix works. We don't have it in GA4. Sorry. And last but not least, better integration with GMP and Google Stack. And when I was doing research for this video, as one of the benefits of GA4, I was seeing a better integration with Google products. Like, no, Integration, for example, with GMP tools like Campaign Manager 360 and Display and Video 360 is significantly worse because you have only super basic dimensions for Campaign Manager and DV360. Previously, there was no connection at all. You was not able to see your Campaign Manager and DV performance, and now you also hardly do it actually. But yeah, integration is significantly worse. But are businesses and marketers abandoning Google Analytics 4? I don't think so. Yes, some of the GA competitors, for example Adobe Analytics, are gaining some popularity and new users. However, for marketers, Google Analytics is one of the essential things for their business because GA was one of the first and actually the best web analytics tool that allowed you to monitor your paid campaigns performance, understand behavior of users on your website, and a lot of people still using it because, yeah, what are the other alternatives? I think where the real problem exists is when people are measuring paid channels performance using GA4. It's a total disaster. Please don't do it. If you run multiple paid channels and you measure paid channel performance using GA4, will show you skewed data towards last click attribution. And why is this problem? The problem is last click attribution is a situation when you showed CTV ad, then user saw digital out of home placement, then user saw ad on CNN.com, and then this user went to paid search, clicked on your ad, and made a conversion. In GA4, you will see this conversion brought by paid search. However, paid search did 0 in this conversion pass, while other channels brought this channel, and those channels should take credit for these conversions, but not paid search. But if you are budgeting and measuring performance in GA4, you are going to give the vast majority of the budget to channels that just last in the conversion pass, but not those what are driving performance. And this is a real problem and challenge in digital marketing because marketers are not trying to adopt new measurement solutions like MMM and incrementality testing, but they're still solely relying on Google Analytics last touch attribution. It's a total disaster that could kill your brand and new users acquisition. And I know, last touch attribution show you attractive picture where you should allocate 100% of your budget to branded paid search. However, if people are already searching your brand, want to buy your product, you don't need to spend additional money on those users because they would have converted anyway. Let's be real, we can't get rid of GA4 because this is the most popular tool that exists. But how we can make GA4 work for us? And my first recommendation here is to try to build custom reports for you. Choose needed dimensions like source medium and then choose needed metrics because standard reports don't do good enough job to show you all of the needed metrics. So I would recommend you use app analytics tool like Firebase and others and use it in addition to Google Analytics. And recommendation number 3, don't rely on Google Analytics for measuring paid channels and your marketing activities. Google Analytics is a tool built to measure website performance, not paid marketing performance, not marketing performance, website performance or app performance. Embrace MMM, incrementality testing, different measurement methodologies, but please don't rely on GA. Use platform data and then push it to other measurement solutions, but don't rely on GA4 solely. And question we all probably have, will Google fix GA4 or are we doomed? I think yes, they will fix it. However, the speed of these changes raise some question for me because they released it 2 years ago or 3 years ago and still have some issues with data collection. We can't rely on this data, and I'm not even talking about user interface and user experience. It would be great to have just reliable data source and data there. But in general, still, I'm optimistic they will probably fix the major issues, and also I think they should improve their user interface and make it more straightforward for users, Also, it would be great if they would change metrics for main reports, because the half of these metrics don't really make sense for me, but let me know in the comments if you find them useful. And if you are a marketer and you need to measure your campaigns, you 1000% should be embracing other tools but not Google Analytics. I'm not sure what the future of Google Analytics is, because GA competitors are gaining traction, but we'll see. I personally use it very rarely right now, because for programmatic campaigns it doesn't make any sense. I could see a few scenarios with checking website data, checking different users' behavior, and trying to understand what products they are buying, what articles they are reading, and things like that, but no more. But also it would be interesting to see your opinions in the comments, because I've mostly heard negative opinions about GA4, but it would be really interesting to hear your experience. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and see you in the next video.